Hello, welcome back, Nords and Nerds, to another day of Showdown of the Skulls. Not gonna play today, but gonna show you some of my new favorite cards from the new set, March of the Machine. One of them, gonna go with this one first, is Army of Whispered Hopes. 2 colorless and 1 green, uncommon creature spirit. If one or more +1/+1 counters will be put on a permanent you control, that many +1/1 counters are put on that permanent instead. So you put the counters on it and add 1 extra. But the big thing about it is you can tap it for X mana of any 1 color, where X is Army of Whispered Hope's power. So it's essentially the previous enchantment doing the same thing of adding 1 extra, or Peer from Battle Bonds, which adds another counter, but it also taps for mana, which in my Kenrith higher power deck you can actually go insanely off with, which is why I put it in there. You can also use it with any Atraxa deck, just space. The next card is Urabrask, the first Urabrask that is actually playable. The other ones, not so much, in my opinion. 2 colorless, 2 red, slight restriction. Legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. First strike, when you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Urabrask deals 1 damage to target opponent, and you add 1 red, which is the huge part about this card. It's essentially kind of a Bergie from the Kaldheim set. So when you cast an instant sorcery, you also get free mana, which is insane. Actually considering making a mono-red Spellslinger deck, which would be nice. The back, of course, is a Saga. The Great Work, the Saga is called. On the first step, it deals 3 damage to target opponent and each creature they control. So it's kind of a board wipe, depending on creature sizes, which is very nice. 2 is create 3 treasure tokens, 3 free mana, just very nice. And number 3 is until end of turn, you may cast instants or sorcery spells from any graveyard. If a spell cast this way would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. And then you exile the Great Work and return it to the battlefield as a Urabrask. So you can cast any instant and sorcery spells from any graveyard, and since it flips before the end of the turn, meaning immediately, you can just start casting your own sorcery instants, and you can also cast your opponent's instant sorceries, and also get red mana from all of those spells, which just chef's kiss again, just so flavorful. Next card is Into the Fire. A sorcery, 2 colorless, 1 red, essentially a wheel, but just for yourself. The first option on it is Into the Fire deals 2 damage to each creature, planeswalker, and battle. Semi-board wipe, a little bit low on commander side, but the second one is very nice, which is put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your library, then draw that many cards +1. So a very good draw card spell. I would put it in the Urabrask deck if I make it. Replace your hand, get new cards, keep the ones you want. Just very nice in Commander. It's sorcery speed though, a little bit of a restriction, but you can work around it. Next card is Rona, Herald of Invasion. 1 colorless, 1 blue, legendary creature, human wizard. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, untap Rona, Herald of Invasion. You can tap her to draw a card, then discard a card, which is just a really nice draw card effect. She is multicolored in Commander. The backside you can get to by paying 5 colorless and 1 Phyrexian black. Transforming her, activate only as a sorcery. On the back, you get Rona, Tolarian Obliterator. This one I really need to make a commander deck with, because she becomes a 5/5 with Trample. Whenever a source deals damage to Rona, Tolarian Obliterator, that source's controller exiles a card from their hand at random. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield under your control. Otherwise, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So, the reason why I'm really excited for this one is on the backside when she's completed, you can ping her yourself if you have Thornbite Staff or similar effects. So if you deal 1 damage to her yourself, then you get to exile a random card from your own hand, cast something, preferably if you have some effect that makes it so you draw more cards or you just have a lot of draw spells. You can also just put Omniscience in the deck for no reason whatsoever. I mean, a free Omniscience, that's fine. Fine. You can manipulate, it's blue and black, so you can manipulate your hand, so you only have Omniscience on hands. Like, whoops, who could have known that? Not me. We'll see if that comes up on our YouTube, Nods and Nerds. Look forward to it, it might be there. The next card is Chrome Host Seed Shark. Kind of Shark Tornado enchantment vibes. This time it's a 2-mana blue creature, Phyrexian Shark. Flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, incubate X, where X is that spell's mana value. So an incubation token is an artifact, which you can use in multiple decks. You can sacrifice artifacts to get mana. You can tap artifacts to untap other artifacts with Clock of Omens. You can do a multitude of things with artifact tokens that you just get essentially for casting your spells that are not creatures. And in blue, a lot of non-creature spells. Do with that what you want. I certainly will. Last card being a fairly typical one. I think a lot of people like this one, which is Heliod, the Radiant Dawn. 2 colorless and white. Legendary enchantment creature, God. The front is fairly boring, I have to say, personally. When Heliod enters the battlefield, return target enchantment card that isn't a god from your graveyard to your hand. Very boring. For 3 mana and a blue Phyrexian, you transform Heliod, the Radiant Dawn, only at sorcery, of course, to become Heliod, the Warped Eclipse. Now, a legendary enchantment creature, Phyrexian God, you may cast spells as though they had flash. We can do a lot of fun things with that. Also, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card your opponents have drawn this turn. So Heliod in Commander is blue and white, and you have quite a few white spells that make yourself draw cards and your opponents draw cards. So you can actually just start popping off on your own turn if you have some of the white draw spells, and then just, again, sorry for this, but an Omniscience for 2 mana, who would have known? Or Etherflux Reservoir, 0 mana. Why not? And then Brainstorm, and all the possibilities are all in your favor. Within blue and white and colorless, obviously, but. So, those are some of my favorite cards from the new set March of the Machine, and I hope you enjoyed them as much as I probably will. If you enjoy any others that I haven't mentioned, please put them into the comments. And we are with Nords and Nerds, and this is Showdown of the Skulls.